All right, let's talk about the toughest opponent you will ever face. And that opponent is the person staring back at you in the mirror. Now, this isn't just some other self-help talk. Think of this as a game plan, a way to turn your biggest inner critic into your biggest champion. Let's dive in. Does this feel familiar? You know that feeling? No matter how much you want to move forward, it's like there's a part of you that just keeps pulling you back, keeping you stuck in the exact same spot. Well, there's a name for that. And just understanding it is the very first step to breaking free. So that feeling of being your own worst enemy, it has a name: self-sabotage. And honestly, it is a battle that way more of us are fighting than you might realize. So first things first, let's define our opponent. Think of self-sabotage as a civil war happening inside your own head. It's like a ghost in the machine that slams on the brakes right when you're about to hit the gas. It's that mountain of excuses you build brick by brick until you've completely walled yourself in. Here's the really tricky part and what makes self-sabotage so sneaky. These behaviors, they are masters of disguise. Procrastination tries to sell itself as just waiting for the right moment. Perfectionism pretends it's just having high standards. And that inner critic, it whispers that it's just trying to protect you from getting hurt or from failing. But if you look closer, you'll see they are all just different roads to the exact same dead end, staying stuck. Let's be absolutely crystal clear about this. That inner voice is a liar. It's a phantom, something conjured up from the ghosts of your past failures and all your anxieties about what might go wrong. The second you see it for what it truly is, a distorted echo, not a prophecy, that is the second you start to take your power back. So, we've identified the enemy. Now what's the battle plan? Well, here's where a lot of us get it wrong. We are trapped by a fantasy, a highlight reel version of what doing the work is supposed to look like. It is time to shatter that illusion. We see the dream version all over social media, right? The flawless morning routine, the perfect workflow, feeling totally balanced. But the reality of making progress is almost always messy. It's dragging yourself out of bed when you don't want to. It's hitting a wall. It's making mistakes and having to start all over again. It's ugly. This quote just nails it. We get so focused on the pretty destination that we forget that the journey is almost always through the mud. Real growth happens in the trenches, not on some parade ground. The moment you learn to embrace the ugly, the false starts, the frustrating dead ends, that's the moment you unlock real, sustainable progress. So what does this ugly work actually look like in practice? It's this simple, and honestly this profound. It is not about having a perfect streak. It's about the comeback. It's about missing that workout on Tuesday, feeling bad about it, and then showing up anyway on Wednesday. That's where the real victory is. Consistency will always beat intensity. Okay, but how do you actually build that show up again mentality, especially on the days you feel completely and totally drained? Well, the answer isn't what you think. It's not about trying to find more motivation. It's about building something far more powerful, far more reliable: discipline. This is a total game-changing mindset shift. We live in a culture that's obsessed with motivation. But let's be real, motivation is a fair-weather friend. It shows up when the sun is shining and then it just vanishes at the first sign of a storm. Discipline, on the other hand, is your all-weather companion. It shows up, rain or shine, and just says, let's get to work. And that's how you build unstoppable momentum. And here's the beautiful paradox in all of this. We've been sold this idea that freedom is about doing whatever we feel like in the moment. But that isn't freedom. That's actually being a slave to your every whim. True freedom is being the master of your moods, not their servant. And the key to that mastery? It's discipline. So, how do you start building this muscle? Forget the grand, sweeping gestures. Just start with one single, non-negotiable promise to yourself. Then, and this part is key, you have to eliminate the debate. The decision is already made. There's no room for negotiation with that tired, unmotivated version of yourself. And finally, track your wins. Every time you follow through, no matter how small it seems, log it. You're building a portfolio of proof that you are someone who keeps their word to themselves. And this is really where we get to the heart of the matter. This whole thing isn't about becoming some kind of robot. It's about something way more profound. It's about learning to trust yourself again. It's about rebuilding that sacred relationship with the one person you spend every single moment with, you. I want you to really look at this number, 9,000. What could it possibly represent? It's not a measure of success, but it is absolutely the secret ingredient to achieving it.
9,000 shots. That's the number of shots Michael Jordan missed. Just think about that for a second. The greatest of all time wasn't built on a foundation of perfection. He was built on a mountain of misses. Every broken promise to yourself, it's just a missed shot. The game isn't about never missing, it's about having the courage to take the next one. Failure is temporary. Quitting is what makes it permanent.
And this, right here, this is the why behind all of it. Choosing discipline isn't just about being more productive. It's about choosing to take ownership of your life. It's about voluntarily shouldering that weight of responsibility. And in that simple act of facing the hard things head on, you'll discover a sense of meaning and purpose that no amount of easy living could ever give you. So let's bring it all back to where we started, to that person in the mirror. After all is said and done, after all the wins and the losses, can you look them in the eye and say, with complete conviction, I've got your back, I trust you, we're in this together? Because building that alliance, that unshakable friendship with yourself, well, that is the greatest work of a lifetime.